conference is now starting. All attendees can now hear you.
Good afternoon. This is Kim McCleary. I am President and CEO of the CFIDS Association of America, and we welcome you to this webinar this afternoon, The Science of CFS, Past, Present, and Future. Joining me this afternoon here at my side is Dr. Suzanne Vernon, the Association's full-time scientific director, and we're delighted to have so many people with us this afternoon. We have over 350 people registered for this webinar, which is just very inspiring and impressive to us, and a little intimidating, to be quite honest, because we're sitting here in a room in Charlotte, North Carolina, and all of you are out in cyber world, and we are connected hopefully through a computer screen and this audio link to share this exciting and empowering information with you this afternoon. But we don't have the benefit of your body language or eye contact or feedback to help guide us through the presentation. So keeping in mind that this is a much easier and less energy intensive way to share this information, we also lose something in the exchange, but we're hoping to make up for it with the information we have to present and some technology tools that this software allows us. You do have the opportunity to send questions and answers through your computer to us. I will say that with so many people registered and participating already, it will be quite a challenge to get to some, if not all, of the questions in the time that we have allowed. So please know that your questions, we do get the benefit of those even if we don't get to answer them directly in this time frame, and that your questions and comments will help shape other information that we provide through CFIDS Link and future webinars and the CFIDS Chronicle. So please don't hesitate to send your question, but I hope you won't be disappointed if we don't get to each and every one. I know that some people have written in and asked for a copy of the presentation because they're either listening without the benefit of having a computer, or they're on a computer with dial-up and therefore it's a bit slower. Since the time that you were sent the slide presentation, it has changed slightly, but not in significant ways. So if you find yourself out of sync trying to keep pace with the presentation that others are seeing via the web, just know that a few of the slides have changed. Throughout the presentation, we have the opportunity to also poll the group, and I'm going to open a poll right now, and you will be able to see the responses as they come in. So please take a look at your computer screen and respond to the question in front of you, and then you click the submit button, and we'll get an idea of who we have here joining us this afternoon on the line. We'll take just a second for that. I have this cool little dashboard in front of me that tells me what percentage of the group has voted, so once it gets close to 100, we can go ahead and close this. And all of you, for the group today, we have 83% of whom identify themselves as patients, 6% of whom are caregivers, 11% are healthcare professionals, and 7% describe themselves in other ways. So that helps us gauge both the information and the presentation as we go through this afternoon. And in order to stay on target as far as our time, I'm going to go ahead and turn the presentation over to Dr. Vernon and ask her to lead us through the science of CFS and where we are now and where we're headed. Suzanne?
Thank you very much, Kim, and thank you for everyone out there in radio land, I guess, or internet land, for joining us. This is really exciting, and as Kim said, quite nerve-wracking, because this is probably one of the biggest audiences we've ever given a presentation to. We have, like Kim said, over 300 people registered, and at least half of you are right now online joining us. So thank you again. I've had the opportunity to meet and talk with many of you over the past 6 months. So some of the information that I'm presenting might be a little bit redundant, but I hope that for those of you who have not heard me speak or who I have not had the opportunity to meet, that this information is useful and very hopeful. Let me first start by giving you a little bit of information about myself. I joined the association on November 1st, and that was after spending 17 years with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta, Georgia. Since 1997, I actually was the team leader for the chronic fatigue syndrome program at CDC, and we did, as many of you may be aware, a lot of work trying to identify objective markers of CFS, that is, laboratory tests that could help us in diagnosing CFS. We were some of the first at CDC to actually use some of the human genome information to try to understand CFS, and also some of the first to try to identify novel pathogens associated with CFS. And I think one of the most exciting opportunities that I had while I was at CDC was to spearhead a challenge, a computational challenge that we called C3, which got together more than 25 investigators from around the world to tackle the same data set in order to be able to identify disease markers. And one of the neatest things about that effort was a clear demonstration of how much progress you can make and how effective it is to have large multidisciplinary teams tackling the same problem at the same time. So I have a number of scientific peer-reviewed publications, and about half of those are specific to CFS. So when the opportunity was presented to me to join the CFIDS Association, I really was excited about it because I thought it was a great opportunity, a great next step in order to be able to bring some of the very powerful science that is being done around the world to you, the individuals who suffer with the disease, and to the people that actually try to help people with CFS in order to be able to improve the lives, bring hope to people every day. So let's take a little bit look into the past. We're now more than 20 years since CFS was first described. Back in 1984, that picture up in the left-hand corner is a picture of Incline Village on Lake Tahoe. And I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Paul Cheney last summer and gave him a kind of an informal interview to ask him what it was like when this outbreak occurred in Incline Village. And he referenced right away this article that was published in the Annual Reviews of Medicine by Dr. Jones and Strauss that described chronic Epstein-Barr virus infection. And both he and Dr. Peterson were quite convinced that they were dealing with something very similar to, if not identical to, chronic Epstein-Barr virus infection. As many of you know, the CDC was called in about that time, was not able to confirm an EBV infection, but nonetheless research into various types of infectious etiologies and the pathogenesis of CFS has continued over the past 20 years, amounting to the federal agencies, CDC and NIH, and several of the other federal agencies having spent